Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb and Dave, and it is Veterans Day, Monday, November 11th, 2024. And today we are here to talk about propaganda and how it works. So without further
So,
ado, here is Mr. Dave to talk.
hello, this is Mr. Dave. Someone might ask me, so why are you doing this now? Because we've been through this before. We've
This
been through
weekend.
this again. And uh, after the Hillary, every time after an election, actually, we did it after 2016 or the 2017 was propaganda all over the place. After 2020, I mean, come on. 2020 with the election was stolen and this and that and the other thing, which is, by the way, why we don't want to go down that road without concrete evidence. We're not doing it again, everybody.
No, we're not,
It's
we're
not
not
going to
turning
happen.
into MAGA because we're unhappy. It's just not going to be the way we.
Right. And before I start this, I want to say that the day after the election, I checked out Starlink and I checked out Elon Musk. I couldn't find anything. So the fact that these breadcrumbs are coming out, they're breadcrumbs. We did a short take on it. Please take a look at it because I don't want false narratives to permeate or to get through and be a pain in my ass for 4 years. I'm not going to entertain it. If the election was certified, it was certified. Okay, that's it. If investigations show up and all that, fine, let them do their, whatever they have to do and take action. But without further ado, this is propaganda. Now, right after the election, I started seeing these little stories, and I'm going to show you an example of a few of them. These stories are designed to start little arguments with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your family, your friends. Okay. They are targeted towards certain people. Some of it is very obvious, and some of it is not. It's very subtle. But let me re we've done this, we did this a while back. Uh so uh, this will be in the sources, but this is a breakdown of what propaganda is, purpose of it. First off, you have to have an agenda. And we will go into propaganda and ads and all of that next show because of the barrage of vile and hate towards the transgender community right now. And part of it has to do with ad campaigns during the election, as well as, by the way, our new EPA director, Lee Zeldin, had a pact trying to stop Prop 1, which uh, now includes transgenders being protected by the New York State Constitution, along with other groups. So, so propaganda has an agenda, a targeted audience. Targeted audience could be men, women, peanut butter lovers, whatever. A massaged message. Propaganda makers use persuasive techniques to shape their content, such as join our group, you'll be part of our family, that kind of crap. Okay.
This is basically
Some,
advertising. Just,
yeah, that's what it is. It's
it is.
basically advertising.
It is.
Sometimes these techniques may be rooted in the truth, but other times they may omit or alter the facts to better serve the ultimate agenda. Very, very quickly. And again, we're going to cover this next week. Kids are mutilating themselves. Kids are mutilating themselves. Now, when you think of the word kid, I think of a 5-year-old. When people were saying, what do you think about the transgender situation and kids being mutilated? I'm like, well, first, define kid, because some uh, some people do get surgery, very rare, under 18. But Deb will go through it, not now, but we'll go through it next week. But there's different things, different loaded language. Biological male, that is a loaded term. Okay. Extra credit, disguise the delivery, or try to distance yourself from something that you got caught with, like Project 2025.
Right.
Then, aha, look. So you may think, and by the way, hope and change, that was a propaganda. That could be considered propaganda, positive propaganda. And propaganda doesn't always have to be bad.
Right.
But one purpose, not the only purpose, but one purpose of propaganda could be to divide and keep people fighting with each other while corrupt motherfuckers just take everything. Basically. Um, so let me give you a couple of examples of now women. Women are under attack right now. We have uh, the your body, or what is it? Your body, my choice.
Yep.
Yeah. So your body, my choice, all of that, all those attacks. So this one is women who are all class do these 16 things. If you don't do these 16 things,
You
you're
got
not a
no
woman of
class, honey.
class. You make a statement through style, you got to buy our clothes, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of a marketing
I
thing.
got no
But
class.
yeah, exactly.
I'm good. I don't want no class.
15 clever comebacks to shut down a highly opinionated person. Deb, you better watch out.
Give it a shot. Go right ahead.
You want to see some of these? I mean, not for nothing. A
I don't
couple of
know.
these are, nah, who cares?
Give it a shot. Just go ahead and try doing that.
Okay, here's one. So, 12 toxic behaviors that show you're the problem, not everyone else. This is the one I like. I happen to be bipolar, so I like that response by that young lady right there. Have you just tried being happy? But 15 things you should never say to a bipolar person.
Oh
You know,
my God.
again, you have a targeted message. Okay. You have a targeted message, and you kind of massage that message, because basically what it's saying is you should never say these to a bipolar person, because God knows they're going to blow up on you. And you know what? Some of us are regulated, some of us are medicated. Some of us, when we're medicated and regulated, yeah, you can piss me off. But
And if they blow up on you, sometimes you deserve it, quite frankly.
right. And by the way, I want to say this, because there's another form of this kind of divisive propaganda on uh on Twitter. And I'm going to shut this off.
There is. it's not just on Twitter. You know
And
what?
social media, social media.
Here's a lot of what you see on Facebook. Okay. And it's it's set up. You know it's not a legitimate thing. Larry Bird is the worst player in NBA history. You see that all the time. It's
Right.
amazing. And you know what that's designed to do. You know it.
Of course.
Who's better, the Rolling Stones or the Beatles? I hate to tell you this, but the Rolling Stones and the Beatles wrote songs for the Rolling Stones. And guess what? They got along quite well. To be
Right.
honest with you, Mick Jagger inducted the Beatles into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So again, it's like when people do that to me, James Taylor or JJ Cale, why should I have to pick? I like both of them. I play both of them on my
Right.
radio station. And by the way, they don't sing the same kind of music. So you have to be able to compare apples with apples. So
Right. And there are 6 foods here. You can only pick 2 or whatever.
yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
My usual response is you can keep them all. So
Now look, we're gonna dissect the election at some point, I'm sure. People pointing fingers at each other. It's counterproductive, and we have to figure out how do we get those people back, or at least some of those people back. Um, people are,
feeling that
and
I have a feeling over the next 4 years we'll have some help from Donald Trump with that. Once they
yeah,
realize that they sold themselves up the river too,
right,
because they did. They did.
yep.
His
Well,
own,
the
his
uncommitted
own
movement, all of
supporters
that.
mean his own supporters mean nothing to him. He tells them that at every rally. You're nothing to me
Right,
but a vote. Okay.
right, right,
He's not shy about making sure they understand just where they fit on the food chain. Half of them wouldn't get hired at Mar-a-Lago to clean the toilets. And they know that. Okay.
right. And by the way, anybody hear of the walrus and the carpenter? Anybody hear of that? That friggin' oysters, bunch of friggin' oysters. But here's the thing, women are pointing at each other. Women, white women, we sold each other out. Blah blah blah. And hey, some of this might be true. However,
It
we
is.
have a common enemy. We have a common enemy.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to get this back
Yeah.
after. So before we go, here's a message. At least for now, we have to work locally. Everyone in blue states, you have to uh, be aware of what's going on in your state. Be ready to respond and do whatever you can do. Um, there's something called the No Kings Act, which I'll go into probably in a couple of weeks, which basically tries to pull back the Supreme Court decision that Trump can basically do whatever he wants. By the way, I want people to understand this too. Donald Trump is not following protocol when it comes to security clearances and all of that. I think what's going on is he doesn't care because he has that
Immunity.
immunity behind his back. And he's like, I don't care. I'm going to go in, get some beers, get some of my
King.
buddies in there in the
He's the king.
situation room. Let's hang out,
The king. He can do
Yeah,
whatever he wants, basically.
right.
For now.
But we do have to collectively, Ed, me, everybody, not everybody has their head all the way up their ass. Maybe we just turn our head a little bit because,
Can I pull that out of there for you? Yes.
yeah, we're going to do a forensic evaluation, which means what the fuck? What happened? What happened? Why are you upset? I'm talking to people now. Uh, a lot of this is a disinformation campaign. A
A
lot
lot.
of it, a lot of it is hitting what's what you call a canary in a coal mine, transgender people and transgender people in transition. I was on a TikTok with someone who was just talking and they said, I happen to be transgender. Someone went on the TikTok and said, why are you shoving your agenda in my face? They just said they were transgender. They, you
No
know,
one's shoving their agenda in your face, okay? Look at,
all right. So come on.
you know what?
Uh,
Bottom line is, guess what? I have a transgender kid.
yeah.
My kid has a right to live. And my kid has a right to tell somebody that they're transgender. My kid doesn't have to hide in a closet and pretend they're not transgender to make you comfortable. Understand that. All right. And I will tell you this right now. They have no agenda other than to fucking live their life the way they see fit, which is actually guaranteed in the Constitution, no matter what the right wing tells you. Okay. No matter what.
And again, a little teaser for this coming show. There are studies which show that all of this action, all of this legal action, or all these bills are are pressuring transgender kids, and suicides are up 74%.
Yeah.
People are killing themselves because they're internal, they just they're seeing all of this information and they don't think they're worth anything.
My 23-year-old transgender daughter slept with a bungee cord under her pillow for 3 years before coming out and telling me, just in case she had to hang herself. So just so you understand, and just so you understand, I have a 23-year-old that sits in the other room over there from me and will not have a social media account anyway, has nothing. Absolutely no social media account except for Twitch, where she plays in a very small group with people that she has vetted. But she considers social media poison, vile, bigoted, and racist. And she does not want to be seen. She doesn't want to see it. Doesn't want to see it.
And
So
honestly,
I'm good with
my
that.
goal, my goal is to be, whether she decides to come on social media or not, my goal is to make these spaces such that if a transgender person wants to come on, they won't be harassed and bullied and all of that.
She is considered, she is looking at blue sky right now. The blue sky is
Okay,
pretty easy right now.
right.
Once it's politicized, it may be a different story, but it's not right at the moment.
By the way, people are going to do what they're going to do, but I'm going to say this. If you are being harassed, abused, trash, all of that, and you're a minority or you're a woman or you're transgender, I will back you up 1 billion% and I will defend you. However, if you take it upon yourself to dox someone, no matter how vile they are, or swat someone, no matter how vile they are, you are becoming what they are. All right. And I do not want that. That is us slipping away. I understand that. Was it Charlie Kirk or Nick Fuentes? I can't remember. One of those jackasses got
Fuentes.
doxxed. It was Fuentes. Nick Fuentes was doxxed.
In fairness,
Now,
Nick Fuentes has doxed plenty of people in his lifetime, though.
I understand that, but you know where I'm coming from.
Yep.
You know where I'm coming from. Now, people are going to do what they're going to do. I cannot go on Twitter or whatever and either laugh and ha ha ha, isn't that funny, karma, although it is karma. Nick, you dickhead. Sorry, you are. By the way, involuntary, voluntary celibate or voluntary, involuntary celibate. How's that work?
All I'm saying is this: Nick Fuentes cannot get a date because all he attracts is flies because he's a pile of shit. Okay, he's vile about women. He's absolutely vile about women. He's absolutely vile about Jewish people. Vile. And I can't imagine anyone wanting to spend any amount of time with him in a relationship unless it was maybe Laura Loomer. The only other person I could think of that would date Nick Fuentes would be Laura Loomer,
Oh,
Candace Owen, whatever.
wait, a little news. Apparently, Laura Loomer went on Blue Sky and she was banned within a half hour.
Why am I not surprised?
But I understand. I'm not talking about. Well, let me just be clear. I am not talking about let's all be nice and get along and
Oh,
kumbaya. No,
no.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that. But there is a level that of
Civility.
civility that I'm hoping that we can maintain because I've seen it before. I saw it between 2016 and 2020. A couple of these guys, Cassandra Fairbanks, she claimed that left wing extremists threw stuff into her house. All right, and all of that. We're gonna get that again. I just don't want to feed the beast
Right.
and make
I was
us
doxxed.
the
So
enemy.
I know that. I know how that feels. I was doxxed myself when
Right.
I was in my last residence, which I'm not giving out the address because somebody I know still lives there. And
Right. Right.
I care about that person. So that's not going to happen. But
But the bottom line with this presentation and with propaganda is I'm not saying don't speak up and don't call something out, but be careful when you're pointing fingers here and there and everywhere because we are going to need each other in more elections because he trashed the place last time and I don't think we have any guardrails in Congress.
no,
I think the House is a Republican majority at this point. So he's going to have free reign for a minute, at least. We calm down. We got to calm down. And again, we cannot blame the Democratic Party for following the rules and following protocol.
that's
I am
right.
sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of hearing Merrick Garland being vilified because he took too long.
Look at, if he had started beforehand, before any investigation was done, it would have gone nowhere. And it wouldn't have mattered if he started 5 months earlier or 6 months earlier, because Donald Trump knows how to game the system. He's been gaming the system since he was going to make Atlantic City great again. He's been gaming the
Right.
system all his life. He is not called Teflon Don for no reason. And guess what? Guess what? He was finally brought to justice. And guess what might happen tomorrow? Judge Merchan might just throw out those 34 convictions because he's been elected instead of sentencing him. So please, folks, understand this. And had he gone to jail, say he got prosecuted and went to jail before the election, there are no laws in this country that say he cannot run from jail or govern from jail. He can run the country from jail if he sees fit. There's no law, folks. We went over this before. There are no laws. Look it up. There are none.
And on top of that, and this is reality. Okay. I'm just saying this is a reality. I'm not saying it's right. Donald Trump goes to jail. You think he doesn't become a martyr on day one? That you don't have people outside the freaking jailhouse every freaking day camping outside there and it feeds the Republican Party even more.
Yep.
Okay, that's a reality of it. But we created this, all of us. We created this when he was elected. We warned you for what,
Months.
2 years? 2 years. 2 years we warned you. Now listen, again, I'm not saying I'm not saying those words, you know, like freaking yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like
you could have listened to
Kevin
us when
Klein's
you had a
yeah,
chance. That one? Oh,
Kevin
let me
Kevin
say that.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kevin Kline in A Fish Called Wanda. Don't call me stupid. Don't call me stupid. Remember Jamie Lee Curtis when she said, well, maybe you shouldn't have done this, and maybe you shouldn't have done that, and maybe you should. Maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Listen, we're just telling you that you're making mistakes. And we made the same mistakes 2016, 2017, 2018. So you're not stupid, you're human. You made mistakes. Let's watch what is happening, watch what he does, watch what the Republican Party does, okay? And take action against it, and try to stem as much of the tide as possible. And again, I'm not asking you to read Project
And if
2025, but it's going to happen.
you've made mistakes, try taking some action against it so you can make up for it. Because
Exactly. By the way, that's what we're doing. I've been trying to get involved in direct action and getting involved.
Yep.
So
Let me just say one other thing. Here's another thing you're seeing a lot of now. Okay. And you're not seeing it from Democrats, so I'm going to tell you it's coming from Republicans. Let's unite and just give Donald Trump a chance. You know what?
no.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry, folks. You elected a fascist, but I will not unite behind a fascist. I am absolutely not doing that. Donald Trump is not going to be any different now than he was in 2016 in his first term. Actually, he's going to be worse this term than he was his first term because he wasn't prepared for winning in the first term. He never thought he was going to win in the first
Right.
term, no matter what he says.
One
And
more
now
one
he's had
one more
plenty of
thing.
time. He's had 10 years
Yeah.
to poison everything, and he's all
Right.
set. He's good to go.
Right. One more thing. One more propaganda piece. Oh, the blue governors are just sour grapes, and they're like petulant children and blah blah blah. Exactly.
Okay.
The
That's why we
the
elected him.
the Democratic governors right now are putting up as many guardrails as humanly possible. And by the way, everybody, here's another one. Now that we're at it, another one. Why isn't Joe Biden speaking to the nation? Why isn't Kamala speaking to the nation? This is why, because they're working. They're trying to confirm as many judges and as many positions as humanly possible that will stay in there, during their term.
And Tim
Trump
Walz,
can't
by the
remove
way,
them.
is back in his state putting up guardrails in Minnesota. So,
Right.
you know what? It's all hands on deck here, folks. If you feel like you've made a mistake, you've been betrayed, particularly, I'm hearing a lot of people now because of the whole tariff thing are freaking
Right.
out. Well, I heard that one of the biggest searches on the night of the election was, how can I change my vote? Well, hell, you can't. Okay.
By the way, hold on. We're not saying that all of those people would add to or would have won the
I'm
election for
just saying
Kamala.
the
We're
fact
not
that
saying
that's
that.
one of the biggest searches is one of the biggest searches. And
Right.
what I'm hearing now is I'm actually watching videos where they are explaining to people who voted for Donald Trump, thinking that the tariffs were going to bring in thousands and thousands of dollars to the US and our economy was going to be booming. Now learning who's going to bear the brunt of those tariffs. And they're freaking out. I'm watching them freak out on camera. So,
Now, if we survive, and I honestly, I think we do.
oh,
Here's the
I do
thing.
too.
I'm learning more and more that what started this whole thing, according to the people that I'm talking about, what started the erosion of the Democratic Party in some of the blue states, and yeah, we lost more blue voters in New York and California. Be careful, but what did it was a loss of confidence in government after Obama. Because remember, they blocked everything. Obama didn't do anything. He left us dry. Again,
Obama, that's baloney, that is.
I know, but I'm saying, again, propaganda message, message, message. Now, here's what we do. We say, okay, Donald Trump's in office. every single thing that he does that affects you. We have people, and by the way, Deb, you and I might want to do this. We have people graphing the price of gas every single month or week or whatever and graphing it. Fine, you want to say you're going to lower gas? What do you say, 150? Now, when the price of gas goes up to $5, I don't want to hear excuses. All right. I don't want to hear it. Oh, that's just the cost of blah, blah, blah. Oh, I don't want to hear it.
Well,
Don't want to hear it.
also, he's already broken his first campaign promise.
Yes, he has.
He was going to get on the phone the day after the election and end the war in the Ukraine. As far as I know, shit's still going on over there. Last I heard, there is no end to the war in the Ukraine. And Donald Trump's going to end the war in the Ukraine, but he's going to end the war in the Ukraine by giving the Ukraine to Vladimir Putin, just so everyone understands that. We have Don Jr. out there now,
right,
basically trolling Zelensky, warning him that the end is near. But you know what? Hopefully, you know what? Europe will come to the rescue. Europe will continue to fund Zelensky. I hope that that's the case.
Now, Deb, you're not being fair because our ambassador to the UN will fix everything. Jesus Christ. And does anyone know, does everybody know who the new ambassador to the UN is? Elise Stefanik.
They
Now,
will laugh at Elise Stefanik.
Lord have mercy.
They will laugh at Elise Stefanik.
Remember Nikki Haley with Bonomo?
Yeah.
They do this all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay. Now, I'm gonna say it, and I said it to people inside, like insiders in New York politics. I was like, listen, throw something on the wall, see if it sticks. Run somebody. And I was told that people are hesitant to do it because they don't want to lose, and it's almost a guaranteed loss. We'll see. We'll see if somebody runs. I don't know, Deb. I don't know.
We'll see.
And I don't think. I think it's a special election situation. I don't think Kathy Hochul gets to a point. I don't think, but I do have to check that before right before all of the appointments and everybody goes to where they're going. I'm going to check each individual state of the people that got appointed and say, or the people who are currently in office. So Elise Stefanik is one. And I am honestly not sure how that works. I think it's a special election. I don't think it's an appointment. Because that's what happened with Swazi, but I'll double check. And by the way, we got something for Swazi too coming in a few days.
Yeah.
And it's not going away. So I'm hearing oh goddamn potential Ronnie Jackson for Surgeon General.
Oh, yeah,
now, I don't even know if he can be that because he's decertified.
Well, I don't know. I heard that RFK Jr. for the head of the CDC, we're doomed. Just so everybody understands, expect bubonic plague back at any time. But I heard. By the
way, there's a couple of avian flu cases floating around. So
what I actually heard was that RFK Jr. floated the clown that is DeSantis's
right, the
Surgeon General.
Yep.
For Surgeon General, I believe.
Right.
We're gonna have it's a clown show. I mean, you can forget public health in America. Okay, you really can. People think this is a joke.
It's not.
Send your kid to school with people who aren't vaccinated. Polio's making a comeback in some places. Do you ever see any pictures of kids with polio? You ever seen that? Maybe you ought to take a look at that. And while you're at it, you should probably look at the refrigerator trucks from 2020 with the dead bodies in it, because COVID's not going away either. And you can bet your life with RFK Jr. in there, it's really not going away.
And by the way, what he's going to do, I suspect, because he did it before, he will just continue the propaganda machine, against big pharma and their peddling of poison or whatever. I'm just saying, I don't know if you're even going to be able to get vaccines. I
That's right.
don't know. I
Worry
don't
about it.
know.
He's talking about Donald Trump is going to defund schools that require vaccines. He has been saying that for 6 months at least. So understand that. Understand that.
By the way, there's going to be a ton of court cases. They may sue him for that. Who knows? Already, Deb, your governing warrior, Maura Healey, has defied Trump and said she will not cooperate with deportations.
She's not going to
So,
cooperate with anything. Maura Healey
yeah.
sued him as Attorney General 100 times during his first term, and she expects to be doing the same with the new Attorney General now that she is governor, and she's already stated that. So
And by the way,
that's why we elected her. Thank you.
yeah, that's a good point. That's another thing I might want to look at. See, even in red states, how many, if there are any attorney generals who happen to be blue, because they could be allies.
Yep. Yep.
But that's what I have for now.
Yep.
But and the other thing, to anyone who's governing, I doubt if they watch this show, but to anyone who is governing, just because you pass legislation to protect a group of people, if you make comments against the group of people, you're noticed.
Talk about
You're
Tom
noticed. I'm talking about Tom Swazi and Seth
Seth
Moulton.
Moulton, in my state. By the way, Seth Moulton sits in the seat of the Republican that I used to lobby as when I worked for the Human Rights Campaign. That's his seat. That was his seat. Peter Torkelson had Seth Moulton's seat.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right, gang. We are done for this week. You have a lovely evening, and we will see you next week.